Alright, welcome back to the next episode of our Final Fantasy playthrough.
Yeah, so last episode we kind of left halfway through the dungeon and we,
It's a long dungeon. I mean, there's a million fights every step. Found a house.
Yeah. So, playing this game through, I'm not sure, I've played this game a few times to this point, and we've beaten it once, but we didn't actually beat it. Our brothers actually beat it without us, but we did all the work to get to it, and playing it through to this point again, you can see all they did. It's a Nintendo game. You really kind of have to give it some leeway of technology-wise. You see all that they did, but. Some people, I've actually heard some people say this is their favorite Final Fantasy. And that's definitely looking through the rose-colored glasses.
I think it's a bit extreme. I think there are a lot of things this game did I wish they would do in the future. Like, letting you kind of customize your party, the way the characters look are kind of cool. And it has definitely a Dungeons & Dragons kind of rule set as far as like how many spells you can cast, buying spells, and then it's completely different than the way they do it later in the game, in the franchise. But also, I think that any of our major problems with the game comes from the fact that we have played it so many times.
To this point, yeah.
I mean, I would say maybe 5 or 6 times get it through this point, and we still haven't beat the game. Yeah. I don't think they really ever encountered on anyone doing that.
Yeah.
So if you get exhausted playing the game over and over again and never getting that satisfaction, it's just because that's just the way that one went. As far as we're concerned.
Yeah. And I'm not going to say that it's a bad game, not in the least bit.
No, it's not a bad game. It's just it's definitely not the best in the franchise.
No, and I want to talk about the best in the franchise for a bit. Everyone has a different one that they say is the best in the franchise. And,
this looks important.
Yeah, it does. This is a scripted fight. You stepped on this spot, you get into this fight right here. You can tell.
If they interacted?
Yeah. Every time you step on this spot, you'll get into this fight. I'm pretty sure of it. There's a few different spots where it's like that. I might even get in that fight again on my back. Or maybe it's this one's the scripted one.
Oh, the wizards.
Yeah, these guys can actually... No, it's not these guys. It's a different one later on. It's similar, the exact same sprite, but different.
Well, they look like mind flayers from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes, clearly it is.
When they attack, it's like they're attacking with. Well, that wasn't very strong. But usually when they punch, they can do a lot of damage, like that.
Those two airs.
He's the highest defense, so
yeah.
Probably would have killed Ryek.
Yeah.
Ryek is like our red shirt.
I wish. We can't even afford to let him die. But anyway, best in the series. Like the nostalgia people will say, Final Fantasy IV was the best in the series, or Final Fantasy VI, or the people who played them will say Final Fantasy V or something like that was the best in the series, or something like that.
Final Fantasy, I don't know. I don't like that game. It's just too cheesy. Like, it's way too cheesy.
Yeah. Now, Final Fantasy IV is a solid game, but there are some points where it's just like, okay, can I get through this?
Final Fantasy IV?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the major problem I feel like with that game, it went through that, they went through that phase where, okay, you're in this part of the game, so these are your teammates.
Right.
You don't get to choose your teammates, it's like, these people. And then near the very end of the game, you can start like customizing your party, but not really.
A little bit. You can only change one person, I think.
And then there's like one clear choice who's much better than everybody else. So
I
obviously,
think at the very end, you are locked.
And it's kind of a small gripe because in this game, obviously, you're locked through the entire game. But it's that kind of present that like, oh no, you have a choice, but not really. Kind of feeling that I can see through so easily that I don't want to say I take offense to it, but it definitely breaks me out of the game.
Yeah.
A lot.
And then you got Final Fantasy VI. Okay, that game is fantastic, and I will probably say, and I can't even necessarily say it's the best on Super Nintendo, but it is way up there.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VI is great. It's got my favorite airship of the entire series.
Yeah,
the Blackjack.
I think we mentioned that in the last episode. I don't know if it was the last episode of that or if it was another episode of something. We did mention that. That is probably the best airship.
Yeah, well, before we go on though, the Final Fantasy IV, I don't want to just leave it as like, oh, I got some problems with it. I love that game because it has the best, in my opinion, one of the best redemption stories in any game.
Yeah, in any game.
Because your main character, who looks awesome as a Dark Knight.
Yes, got the goddamn crown. Alright, we get the fuck out of here.
If we had a black mage, we could warp out, but I don't think we have that ability.
No, we don't. Wait, do we? No.
No, we don't.
No, so cheer up.
Well, so, Cecil, he looks awesome. And I've mentioned this before. I don't want to go into great detail. I'll go into more detail with it when we finally play that game. I just love the redemption story of that game to pieces. I love it to pieces. So we can go back to talking about the other Final Fantasy games.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VI is a fantastic game. I can't really say that there's anything wrong with it at all. But it's not my favorite.
No, it's not my favorite either.
I will say that I played the shit out of it. I
don't even know
I bartered down my brother, my cousin, for this game. The one we have currently, my cousin owned it because I couldn't get a hold of one, and I gave him like almost nothing for it.
I can't remember how much we gave him. We gave him some money. We probably gave him an entire paper out paycheck. Too.
Yeah, we got that and Parasite Eve,
which we haven't really played very much of.
Yeah, it's over there somewhere. Anyway,
but we played Final Fantasy VI so many times, and we've done all, as far as I can know, we've accomplished all the secret things you can do in the game.
We've accomplished all the secret things. We haven't done any of the glitches, like
fighting the Kaiser Dragon,
and the glitch.
Playing as General
Leo. Yeah,
we haven't done that, but we have. We've beaten the game so, devastatingly. I think we killed Kefka one turn per phase, I think.
Yeah, one turn per phase.
It was pretty effortless. We killed the final dragon when it comes to, getting that summon Magicite for the dragon with just Mog.
Yeah, we soloed him with Mog.
Mog.
That was an accident.
It was an accident, but we still, obviously, we leveled him up and powered him up enough that he could do that. Just for shits and gigs.
Yeah, what we did is we gave him the Moogle Charm and the Snow Muffler, I think it was called. Anyway, our plan was we knew the only thing he had to do was fight a boss near the end, and we knew he could take him. And we thought, well, if he doesn't have to fight any bad guys the entire way through, him by himself would do it. And because I think that playthrough that we did that, we didn't have everybody.
No, we had everybody. We just didn't have a walkthrough or anything. We didn't know that the dragon was going to be there.
I don't remember why we didn't send anybody with him.
I think we just did it because we didn't think he was going to come across anything too strong.
Yeah, and so we sent him up there, and sure enough, picked the spot, the path that leads into that dragon. He kills him though, so that was good.
Yeah, he killed him. That just goes to show how much we've played that game through. We destroyed that game. Love it.
But it's still not my favorite. And I have a hard time picking a favorite in this because probably my top 3 in no particular order is Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy XII, and Final Fantasy XIII.
Okay, we're not counting tactics?
Not counting tactics.
If I'm going to pick one game, my favorite Final Fantasy, it's going to be Final Fantasy Tactics. But if I'm just counting the main series, it's going to be basically like that. I'm not going to really have it. 13 is great, but I'm going to put that more along Final Fantasy 4 and 6, like in that category, but 7 and 12, I don't think I could pick one or the other.
Yeah, and you know, that whole statement we just did would make every single Final Fantasy fan mad, because if you don't say number 1 is always Final Fantasy 7, then you pissed everybody off. And if you say anything good about Final Fantasy 12 and 13, you've pissed everybody off. So, that is...
I mean, yeah, I guess so. Some people are upset if you pick Final Fantasy 7 because it's, like, so much newer, I guess.
Yeah, it's not even newer. It's because of people... I want to say it's a revisionist kind of thing. It's like, so many people say they loved it. That some people decided to go back and say, "Oh yeah, I didn't really like it that much." I mean, you were the one that like went overboard. I thought it was pretty good, but there was these other ones that were better. And it's a weird like thing. It's like something became too popular. I call it the Nickelback effect.
Okay, so like in Nickelback, everyone claims to hate them, but yeah,
they make bajillions of dollars. How is that possible? And you can't honestly say you didn't like Rockstar or something.
Right, when you first heard Rockstar and no one that you knew liked it, you weren't like singing along with it. Come on, I can understand maybe now it's like not something you sing along with, but you know, Nickelback's got that sound. It's just a song. Mm-hmm. Like there's no reason to hate it. Okay, so Final Fantasy VII, I think there were one problem that I had with the game when I first played it was like, what the hell? I can only have 3 party members.
Right.
That was like huge at the time. It's not so big anymore because it's like, okay, you have however many party members you have.
It was probably bigger for us than anyone else because we have Suikoden, where you have 6 people.
Suikoden, you have 6 people. We also had Wild Arms, but there were only 3 people in the game, so
that was okay.
But in Final Fantasy VII, it's like 3. But look at these cool people, and then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, but I don't really care for most of them. Like I didn't really.
I
didn't care about Red. I guess I didn't care about Red.
I didn't care about Red. I didn't care about Aerith all that much, or Aeris. Actually, fuck it, she's Aeris in the Final Fantasy VII original release in America. Her name is Aeris. That's who I grew up with. That's her name. Fuck it.
That's okay. Yeah, we actually talked about this a lot recently. Recently in the past decade, I guess. And her name is Aerith originally, but in the Final Fantasy VII release in North America, it's Aeris. So we justify it as 2 separate games or 2 separate stories, where her name is Aerith in one and Aeris in the other. So the one we've played is Aeris. Mm-hmm. That's it. There's no like, you know, totalitarianism or so like you know, like
America's on number 1.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what word I'm looking for. Nationalist thing. I'm not saying that this is the only way to be. But right. The game we played, her name was Aeris. We put it in our PlayStation right now, it's going to say Aeris. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
So
we know that much.
Her name is going to be Aeris. That's just the way it goes. Unless we name her something else. I think we named her like Bill. I think the first time we played the game.
We did. We named her Bill.
So it was
okay. So a little bit backstory there. When we first played the game, our older brothers were playing it, and they like to come up with 2 different things. One, they like to come up with overly too cool of a name for a character.
Yeah.
And 2, they like to make fun of some characters. So here's what they did with, they named her Bill. Mainly because we just didn't like her. We didn't like her character.
Didn't care
Sprite
for
her model, 3D model.
And she looked like one of those characters you're like, I'm really supposed to care about this person, so
we're not going to just by contrast.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't care too much about her. But anyway, Barrett or Beret, I don't know how you want to pronounce it. I always call it Beret, but I think it's actually supposed to be Barrett.
Yeah, I always said Beret because it made more sense.
I think it has 2 R's, so I think it's just Barrett.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Beret is definitely spelled differently.
But anyway,
just Barrett doesn't really roll off the tongue.
Yeah, like Beret did though. But anyway, we named him Battle Axe.
Yeah, we did name him Battle Axe.
And Cloud, they did not like the name Cloud. I'm okay with the name Cloud. But
over time, it's cool, I guess.
Yeah,
but when you think about it, his name is Cloud. Is it Cloud?
And
that's stupid.
They named him Striker.
Striker was a way better name.
Yeah,
I will say that right now. Striker's great.
They named him Striker, and I believe they named Tifa Marlene, which is really crazy.
That was awesome. We named her Marlene first time I played the game, and when they reveal the child's name is Marlene,
and then you're supposed to give a flower.
Yeah, you get a flower, and you're supposed to give a flower, and it gives you,
And we didn't know which one was which.
Yeah, we were like, one of these are Marlene. It was like, what are the odds of that?
As soon as we saw Tifa, though, we knew that was the one that Cloud should be with.
Yeah, and the game went through. It made so much sense. Mm-hmm. Everything was right, and then all of a sudden we got this, like, I don't want to say like a slight resentment towards Bill,
because we so clearly wanted those two to be together. It was like, fuck her. And so when she died,
it just made things so much more simple.
But then our guy was so affected by it, so that was kind of aggravating.
Yeah, I was like, come on, stop. Bill is dead. Bill was a useless character in the game. She was a healer in a game where everyone could heal each other. Mm-hmm. Everyone could get the cure spell.
Yeah.
And it did not matter. You could build your character however you wanted.
Yeah.
And she was useless. She could do no damage. She was just horrible.
And if we have any fans now, we've lost them. But anyway, it is aggravating. And so anyway, when we were playing that at the time, we were so like on board for Tifa, or actually we named Marlene. So we were on the Marlene train the whole time. And growing later on in life, we find out that everybody else was so much for Eris being like the love of her life, and then they made the movies where he's still in love with Eris despite the fact he's with Tifa, and it's such a dickhead move. In a way, it makes you not like him as much as you used to.
Yeah, I don't really care. I don't really care for him. What I care about is Shinra. I think the
goddamn story is fucking fantastic.
Yeah, the story is great. I like the way they present arguments in that game. It was more than just like, here's the good guys, here's the bad guys. If you're not with the good guys, fuck you. And they didn't do that. And especially with Kate Sith, much as I hate that guy in the game, I liked
he posed an argument that they couldn't really.
I'm having a hard time remembering his name right now. The actual guy.
The actual guy who controlled Kate Sith? Damn it. I don't remember either off the top of my head.
Well, I'm going to give us a pass because we've had a couple of drinks. So I'm going to say the guy who's controlling Kate Sith was an interesting character.
Yeah.
And
he posed questions that were really deep.
And if you haven't played the game, it's going to be kind of hard to relate, especially now. If you go back and play it now, you're not going to really get that connection anymore. But at some point in the game, you start out, you're like, whatever, some eco-terrorist is going to save the world because of evil things. And it's just like, okay, simple plot. But then when they really reveal to you, when you blow up a reactor, you're killing people that was working there.
Yeah,
you were killing people who had jobs, who were helping people.
What's interesting, before he brings that up in the game, we had talked about that. We killed those people.
Yeah, they're dead. Just like, but you do that in games, you see that in movies, but no one really questions it. It's like the good guys did what they had to do because they're good guys, and the bad guys were bad guys, and that's why it happened. But in Final Fantasy VII, they throw that in your face like really late in the game after it's already happened, and it's like you didn't really get any value out of it in the game, but as a player, it just like it made you question things. It's like not just question things in the game. It made you question things in life, and that was huge.
Yeah, and I feel like Final Fantasy XII, not on the same exact wavelength, but in other ways, it really did the same thing. And I mostly because of Balthier.
Balthier was a way better like main character in that game than Vaughn. Vaughn was just annoying.
Well, Vaughn was added by executives. They felt that the main character was supposed to be Ashalia, the woman, but they felt like that people wouldn't be able to connect with Ashalia, so they added Vaughn and Penelo.
Yeah, I don't really mind the world that was Vaughn and Penelo.
Right,
trying
because
to be space
in the end, it worked for them. It kind of worked out a little bit, and it kind of made sense story-wise.
But I just preferred Balthier, and there was a part in Final Fantasy 12 where I can't remember his name. The Knight guy. What's the Knight's guy name?
Bosch.
Bosch says something like they talk about wanting to continue a war between the Empire. There's always an Empire, you know, between the Empire and whoever the good guys were, and they wanted to continue that war because of all the horrible things they were doing. But they were looking at like the next generation. They were looking at Penelo, and they were looking at Vosh, and they were looking at some other boy, and they Van actually. So the Bosch was looking at them, and he's saying how he didn't want to continue the war, and he was willing to take on the shame of stopping it,
right?
Because he wanted to have a future without this horrible massacres that were happening,
right?
And he was willing to concede a point just because he wanted to stop the war. And there was that sentiment where I didn't fully agree with him, but I respected what he was thinking, what he was doing. And again, like in the terms of Final Fantasy VII, I feel like it reached out of the game and affected my real life world.
Right.
And so that's why those two games, I can't quite decide. It's those moments, those two particular moments, and they both have other great moments in them. You know, great just like video game like moments and great RPG moments. I love them both. But those two particular moments are in my mind forever, and that's why I can't decide between which one's better.
Right. And there are moments in Final Fantasy 13 that have that same thing. Eventually, when we finally make it to the Final Fantasy 13 playthrough, which is a long
time from now,
unless we really, there's something that happens where we can finally start producing like 1,000 of these videos a week, then we'll get there eventually. But it is something that we will do eventually, and I'm looking forward to it because I want to play it again. And there are a lot of moments that really affect me, and I think people either didn't finish the game and got to appreciate the whole game, or maybe they just didn't pay any attention to it because of some of the stuff they didn't like, the gameplay they didn't like.
There was a few things I would say they did alienate a great deal of their fan base because of it, and that was, one, there was no clear way to grind levels. We figured it out pretty early. We figured out how to do it pretty early. It was just not clear.
Yeah.
And I feel like, so not all people who play these games like to grind levels, but some of them do. And that was like, okay, so you shaved out some people just when you did that. And then they have this, this weird battle system that I didn't care for, but the more you got into it, the more complex it was. But it was just different. It's like, why change it? It's one thing if you have a new franchise and you do something different, and it's like, okay, I see what they're doing here. It's kind of cool.
Right.
But when you do it to an established one, and it's just like, why are you doing this? I play this series because it's like this. But if you're going to change it, you're literally slapping me in the face.
But, if you look at Final Fantasy XII's combat system versus what came before, it's vastly different.
Yeah, Final Fantasy XII is a lot different, but a lot of people hated that game because of that as well.
Right.
So
that's,
it just kind of puts you right back in the same boat. I liked Final Fantasy XII's combat system because you thought about it before you got into the fight. It wasn't about pressing A at the right moment. It was about planning out the fight before you get to it.
Right.
And in Final Fantasy 13, you pressed A, but it also was about playing it out. So
Yeah.
I was okay with it,
Yeah.
but it took me a while to come around. I will say that.
Yeah.
I remember when I first played it, I was like, oh, I got this weird... I remember it really hit me really hard when you switched away from lightning and
You
you went
played
to
snow.
played snow. It was like, that's a dumb name. I don't like snow. And then you switched again to Vanille, and all of a sudden your attacks are really weak, and I hate playing as the weak characters.
Yeah.
And you have a boomerang,
But
Hope was on the team, and he was all bitchy and complaining.
I will say that I do like Vanille more later in the game, and
Yeah, but you also had Hope, and Hope, I did not like Hope.
what about when you were Snow and Hope? Good God.
Well, I hated it, but at the same time I liked it because it let Hope kind of really show how much I didn't like him, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
And then Snow kind of like almost threw it in his face without realizing he was doing it, because Snow didn't realize he was going to be killed. I don't want to spoil the game, and I don't want to get into that, but Snow kind of like said, you know, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and and Hope didn't know what to do with that. And I like that scene in that game, and that whole moment of you running away from everybody was kind of cool too. So,
Of course, if we were counting tactics this whole time, Final Fantasy Tactics.
oh, Final Fantasy, I could go on all night about Final Fantasy Tactics, but I don't want to talk about it because
once we play Final Fantasy Tactics, all we're going to talk about is how much we fucking love that
I
game.
I know, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Holy crap, I love that game, and it's because of how deep it is, right?
But I will say this: a lot of people didn't like Final Fantasy Tactics, but I'm not sure why. I have no idea why.
Yeah, I can't.
But we love Shining Force for the Genesis, and we love strategy RPGs. And if you're not into strategy RPGs, I can't see why you would like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Well, yeah, in terms of strategy RPGs, it's really tough. It's really hard at times. Like, Shining Force never really gets hard. At least the first one. The second one is hard as balls.
Yeah, our second one's ridiculous. And then sometimes Fire Emblem can be a little bit hard.
I haven't really played
Oh,
that.
we already killed that guy.
Yeah. He's a bitch.
And then Valkyria Chronicles, but that's a whole new, that's a whole different sack of worms.
We were playing Valkyria Chronicles on our PlayStation 2.
We're kings now. We stepped on the...
We were playing the second Valkyria Chronicles on our PlayStation TV, which, I'm not gonna lie, PlayStation TV is the best thing I have ever heard of. As much as I love the Retron 5, and that is one of my favorite consoles, I think the PlayStation TV might be beside it. I cannot get off this freaking town. Alright, there's a treasure chest here, though.
Yeah, the PlayStation TV lets you play PlayStation, PSP, and PS. Not all of them, but PSP and PS Vita games on your big screen.
So any PSP game that you can download, you can play on there.
Right, if you can download it, you can buy it from the PSN store, like through your PS3. Get the PS TV, play it on your big screen. If you have a PSP or a PS Vita and it's multiplayer, pretty sure you can play it with the person on the big screen TV, and that sounds awesome.
Yeah, and Vita games, there are like over 100 or so Vita games that are compatible with it. All you gotta do is, if you have the Vita game itself, you can plug it right in, you can start playing it, or you can download it. And there are a lot of PlayStation Classics games that are only available on PSP that you can play on PlayStation TV, like Shin Megami Persona. I think I pronounced that right. Anyway, Persona 1 on the PlayStation, it's like, $80 for the game. Or you can pay $20 on the PlayStation TV and play it on your big screen. It's upscaled in HDMI.
There's actually a lot of RPGs. If you're into RPGs and like to play it on the big screen instead of the portable, which I hate. I hate playing on a portable.
The only thing I like about portable is it's fun to gain experience on. Like with our Pokemon Blue. But then we pop it into the Retron 5 and play it on there,
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. But yeah, PS2 is great. So we killed that guy. Pretty sure. We wake up the elf.
Yeah, we take this crown back.
Wake up the king or prince or whatever. And does he give us the explosives or?
We get the key from him, and we go back to the first town. And in the first town, one of the rooms with the lock of the key, you get the nitro.
Oh, okay. So we go back to Cornelia.
Yeah,
Cornelia Castle, and we can finally get those treasure chests.
Yep.
That one guy's guarding. Okay.
Yep. And that's the way this game works. So we're going to probably make it back to town. We're going to stop because there's a lot to do.
So what's going to happen next is we're going to go to the dwarves. They're going to blow up that part of the land. It's going to open up the ocean for us. So we go over to the land to the west.
Yeah,
and that will eventually lead to the Earth crystal and all that good stuff.
But that part is rough.
But we need to get spells here and items here because I'm pretty sure there's no item shop over there.
There is not.
And we have a lot of experience gaining to do because that's how these games work.
Yeah, we still got a bit of a walk back to the town, so closing statements. Most of what we talked about this episode was just about what our favorite Final Fantasy is, and that's actually, I'm not gonna lie, favorite games is always subjective to how I feel that day. So that's like, one day I think, man, I could really crave for some KFC right now. And other days I want McDonald's. So it changes. But anyway, I think this is a good place to stop.
Yeah, it's a good place to stop. I think if we're gonna do anything else, it's just gonna be talking to the elf prince.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do that tonight though. But next time we'll talk to the elf prince and then go to Cornelia.
So we'll see you next time.
Yep.